The American higher education system is plagued by two chronic problems: dropouts and debt. Student loan debt is at an all-time high, recently passing credit card debt in total volume. Loan default rates have risen sharply in recent years. In combination, dropouts and debt are a major threat. In a new chart you can trust, Debt to Degree, a new way of measuring college success, Education Sector has created a comprehensive measure, the borrowing to credential ratio. For each college, authors Carey and Erin Dillon have taken newly available U.S. Department of Education data.
The federal government has tracked both borrowing and production of degrees for a long time. So you can go to a particular college and find out how many students borrow. You can find out the average debt among students who borrow. What we don't have is a measure that combines borrowing levels and graduation into a single calculation of value. And that's what we try to do with the borrowing to credential ratio by looking at new information that's never been available to the public before on the total amount of undergraduate borrowing at a given college or university, and divide that total by the total number of credentials offered by the university. So we think this borrowing to credential ratio shows you how simultaneously colleges are able to keep college affordable by minimizing student debt and help students earn degrees. In the 2006-2007 school year, students borrowed $13,334 for every credential earned. In 2007-08, that amount rose to $14,560, a 9% increase. In 2008-09, it rose by another 24% to $18,102.
We found that the borrowing to credential ratio at for-profit colleges was much higher than the borrowing to credential ratio at other institutions in different sectors. For example, the borrowing to credential ratio at two-year for-profit colleges was 3 times higher than that of public two-year institutions.
One thing we found in our research was that there is enormous variation among the different states in the policies that produce the borrowing credential ratio. States that invest money in their public colleges and universities in order to keep tuition low, and also invest money in need-based financial aid so low-income students don't have to borrow. Those states had relatively low borrowing to credential ratios. By contrast, states that invest less money in their public universities, states that don't focus on need-based financial aid, have much higher borrowing to credential ratios. So it makes a difference, the kind of policies that state policymakers put together in helping college remain affordable.
Institutions can do a better job of making sure their students are only borrowing what they absolutely need to in order to afford tuition and living costs, and making sure that students aren't borrowing excessive amounts of money in order to attend. And then institutions can also do a better job of directing more money to need-based aid. Low-income students usually have to borrow more, and need-based aid can help alleviate that debt.
The other thing that institutions can do in order to increase their borrowing to credential ratio is produce more credentials. We know that graduation rates at many colleges, particularly less selective colleges, are very bad. 50% is a good number, quite frankly, for some institutions, and shockingly, some colleges will graduate 25% or fewer of the students that they enroll. There are things that colleges can do to improve their graduation rates without watering down academic standards. In fact, increasing academic standards is one way to help more people graduate from college. It turns out that a lot of colleges and universities don't challenge their students very well, don't provide them with good teaching, don't provide them with counseling. There are a lot of proven practices that can be applied to helping students enroll in college, stay in college, and finally get a degree.
Find this new chart, along with a link to all the data at Education Sector's website, www.educationsector.org.